Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, All Things Macmillan. I know it's been a while, but I'm so excited to finally be back here with you guys. I am here to share part 2 of my house buying journey. Well, that was 4, but 2 of my house buying journey. Come on. Okay, so when we last left off, as you guys know, I did not get the house. I was very disappointed. The first house, should I say. I was very disappointed, but I hadn't lost my faith. So I went back to the drawing board. I continued to work with the credit repair specialist that was appointed to me through the builder. I continued to fix my credit. I continued to get my credit as high as it needed to be, because in my head, I thought, well, if not this one, then it has to be something better, right? Because he never takes something away from you and give you less. It's always more. And so I felt, keep going, keep pushing. What he has for you will be for you, and it's going to come, because the kind of faith that I got, it got to be there. It got to be coming, right? And so, I went back to the drawing board with my realtor. I even believe that I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll go for like not a new house, but maybe like an older home that's been remodeled, you know, because I have this whole thing with HGTV, you know what I mean? Like I can get an older home and just remodel it. That was no. That was a complete no. I don't even know what I was thinking. Anyways, I kept working with this realtor, but I started realizing that this realtor wasn't, I guess, as knowledgeable as I needed him to be. So I had to switch. So I ended up switching realtors. And this time I was like, you know what? I'm going back to my house, because maybe God is saying, like, I was just working with the wrong person. You know how you get a no, and so your mind starts circling back to, what is it that you're really trying to tell me here, God? What is it that you really want me to see here with this thing? And so I thought, I'm going back to my house, because I built that house, okay? I sat there and I prayed over that house for months. And I was like, that's my house. And so with the new realtor, I was like, hey, I want to try going with maybe a different lender. And she's like, oh, okay, well, let's see. So we tried going in with a different lender, and it was so many things that was falling apart with that like deal. Like it was so many things that the new lender saw from the old lender, I guess maybe notes or something like that. And it was just like, girl, this not gonna work. It's not gonna work. We're gonna have to go somewhere. And I was like, but I pray. Look, just because you believe this is what you're supposed to have doesn't mean that this is what God has for you. I want you guys to really understand that. And I'm not saying that it's going to be worse, but what I'm saying is believe and trust that when he says no, take that no and move on, because your next may be way greater. When I tell you it's greater, just listen. Listen, just trust. When he tells you no, walk away. Walk away. It's for your best. Trust me. So anyway, that was in February, right? And so she's like, just look for something else. And I'm looking, I'm like, I ain't seeing nothing. Then bam, March. Everybody knows what happened in March. And the month of March 2020, COVID hit. And I mean, it hit us. It was March 14th when I started hearing about it. By March 16th, my whole business shut down. Like the company I was working for was like, yeah, go home. We didn't have anything in place. I was like, oh my God, this is why he told me no. Because he must have knew the world was going to be shut down. He knew. God always knows. And I'm like, thank you, Lord, because I was going to have a whole mortgage in these streets and no job. So I'm like, at this time, y'all, there was no unemployment approval, nothing. Like we was literally like, okay, we got money saved up for this house. Are we really about to use this money to survive until we figure out if I'm gonna have a job? Like, I can't go and do hair on the side because there's a disease out here. You know, we didn't know. We were not educated about it. It was just scary. People were dying left and right, and it was scary. The best thing to do was to just lock down. And so that's what we did. We went on lockdown. And so while we're on lockdown, I guess the real estate or the house buying or the lenders or whatever, the builders, they were going in a frenzy too. So at the same time, while the world was shutting down, they didn't know what was going to happen. And so I remember getting a call from the realtor I was working with, and she was like, hey, I think you should go and look at a house right now. Like, right now is a buyer's market. Trust me. And I was like, okay. I'm thinking in my head, girl, the world just shut down. You ain't about to have me out here buying a house and I'm looking crazy and I ain't got a job. You know, I don't know what's going on. I didn't apply for unemployment. I can't even get through the line. Y'all know how crazy it was. It was so many people applying for unemployment at one time. You couldn't even get through to talk to anyone, let alone be able to even apply online. It was going crazy. The world was going bananas, okay? And so I was thinking, girl, you ain't about to get me into that. This is a sign from God. It's so crazy because we start taking signs from God and believing them to be what we want them to believe in. God ain't even saying all that. Like, in our minds, we be making up something totally different for what he's trying to say. And it's absolutely crazy. But that's literally how it goes. And so I was like, go pick out a house. Like, So I called the sales agent at the builder that I was, and me and her was so close. And Miss Liz, if you are looking, I love you so much. Miss Liz was so helpful and so she prayed for me even after I lost. She's like, listen, I know you guys lost the house. There's some birthday balloons in here. I'm like, just throw them away. I was so upset. It was around that, at that time, it was around my husband's birthday, and I was going to blow like a surprise birthday party. But anyway, y'all know that didn't happen. But anyway, she still was so nice. She was like, hey, you're looking again? I'm like, I guess. She's like, well, listen, I have some great news. We have a Texas Showdown sale going on right now. I'm like, a Texas Showdown? She's like, yeah, half of our homes are marked at ridiculous low prices. And so I'm like, ridiculously low prices. Okay. So she's like, hey, just come and look, because your credit is where it's supposed to be. At this time, I think I had like a 650 something. Like, no, I'm lying. I had like a 636. That's what I had. I had a 636. And it's important that you remember that number, because I'm going to tell you in a minute. So I had a 636. And so she's like, I want you to come and look at these houses and see, let's pick out another house. My realtor's like, yeah, let's start all over. So I'm like, okay, I'm game. Let's go. And at this time, y'all, I was feeling so like, Lord forbid, I hope I didn't have COVID, but I was like, I'm finna get out here and I'm finna go look anyway. My body was so weak, but again, it was the beginning of everything, so we didn't know. And so I got up, and me and my husband, we came out here, and there was like a roll of houses. I'm like 10, 11. She's like, just go in each one and see which one you like. And I'm like, I ain't even have this option last time, I had like 2 options that was in my budget that I could pick. She's like, just go and look, and I can tell you what we can work out. I was like, okay. So we're going to all these houses, and we're looking, and I'm like, nah, that's not it, babe. Let's go to the next one. He's like, no, that's not it. Da, 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 da. So we get to this house, and we come in, and okay, I remember telling y'all about my visions, but so vividly, y'all. There's a vision, and I'm going to tell you now, because I'm going to come back with some more videos, and we're going to have to, God's going to prove himself right again. So I want you guys to be a witness before it even happened. But there's a vision I had where I was on this couch, and I was sitting down, and on to my right, there was 3 windows. There were sheer curtains. There were 3 windows. I was sitting on the couch, and from my peripheral, there was a TV here. And I was sitting back, y'all, and I had a big pregnancy belly, and I had a mug on my stomach. Y'all remember what I'm telling you, okay? Because it has not come to pass yet, but it will. And when it will, will, we are gonna so rejoice. But we're not even talking about babies right now. We're talking about the house. So anyway, I came in and I was like, those are the 3 windows that I seen in my vision. Also, this house has dark wood floors and the white doors that I was seeing in my visions, y'all. Now listen, I'm nobody's psychic, but God definitely reveals things to me. And I believe he reveals things to everyone at their appointed time. And so I was like, oh my God. So my husband walks outside to the porch and he like, oh yeah, babe, this is it. It had the full porch. Now the last house, it had like a little cookie quarter square for a porch where you could just put a chair out there and that's it. But this house, it had a full porch on the back, and that's what my husband wanted. He wanted a full porch. He was like, baby, this is it. And we went into the master yard, and it was like, I was like, wow, this is it. We didn't even make it to any of the house. We was probably like our 5th house in, and there was a 2-story house next door. And my husband was on his ear. I want a 2-story house. I'm like, we don't need a 2-story house. We don't need a 2-story house. And so I'm walking. And so I'm walking around this house, and I'm like, how many bedrooms is it? I'm like, because we only need a 3-bedroom. I'm like, I do not want a 4. We do not need to get all these extra rooms. He's like, oh, this is a 4. I'm like, really? I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking like, I remember praying for a 3. I did not ask for a 4. God, you not. Nah. But I'm gonna wait. Because this time, I'm not getting my hopes up high. I'm not. So, we go back to the builder's office, and she's like, hey, this house is actually a little bit less than what it's supposed to be. Y'all, this house was supposed to be like $15,000, honestly, more than what we paid for it. We ended up getting the price of the house that we built. A 4-bedroom for the price of a 3-bedroom. Y'all, that's how God works. I'm telling y'all, that's how this man works. Like, he will blow your mind. And I was like, really? She said, yes. She said, on top of that, we're going to honor the incentives that we had on the last house since you came back to us. So the incentives that they had was, there was a $5,000 closing cost that they were giving towards the home. Okay, hold on to that $5,000. I'm going somewhere with this. And so I was like, okay. So I went home and I was like, Lord, oh my God, but I don't want to get my hopes up. But man, if you really bless us with this house, like you real. Like, you real. Like, if you really do this, like, you listen, you be taking care of your girl. Like, for real. Like, if you do this for us. So anyway, we go through the process again. And so my realtor's like, listen, now they're saying I want to get you approved for down payment assistance. Y'all, I do not know what the name of this down payment assistance was. If I did, I promise I would tell y'all. But I was like 4 points away. And my job's at a 636. I needed a 640 to be approved for this down payment assistance. So I go back to my credit repair person that I'm working with, and he's like, okay, this is what we need you to do. He's like, okay, listen, if you do one thing, it'll take you up 4 points. And so I'm like, what is it? Now, mind y'all, I still had I had a broken lease where I owed like $2,000 and something on, and I also had a cell phone bill that was like, I think like $1,200 and something. And so I'm thinking, Lord, please don't let it be one of these big tickets numbers, because we already went into some of our money that we saved to survive, because, you know, we don't know what's going on. So I'm like, Lord, please don't let it be one of these big ticket numbers, because I mean, that's going to really look bad, because when they go to approve us, they're going to see what's in the account. It's not going to be this, And so, she was like, no, I just need you to go in and I need you to make a payment towards your credit card. I was like, oh, okay. And so my balance, y'all, was like 4 something. I was like, oh, Lord. I don't even want to pay 4 something, because right now I don't know what's going on. She's like, no, I just need you to pay $113. That's going to make your the amount that you owe less. And so it won't work against you with your debt to income ratio. I was like, Debt to income is like how much you owe on your debt and then how much you have coming in. And so I was like, oh, I was like, wait a minute, is it gonna matter because I have a job? She's like, right now, we don't know what's going on. And right now, we're still gonna go by your income that you had prior to this, like literally like weeks ago. I was like, okay, bet. So we're waiting and we're waiting, y'all. While we're waiting, this is like April, like end of March, beginning of April. And I'm like, oh my God. Like my apartment complex at this point, they're like, listen, you said you were going to buy a house in January. Now we didn't give you February, now March because of COVID. We can't go past April or we're going to have to file an eviction. I'm like, no, I can't have an eviction. So I'm like, oh my God, like what is going on? Like, like something gotta give. And so literally like 2 days later, we got approved for unemployment. Oh my God, what a relief. It was so good to finally see something working out for our better half, like something good happened. So I was like, oh, finally, we got unemployment. Y'all, the crazy thing about unemployment is that when we got unemployment through COVID, we started receiving more money than we were actually making throughout the year. Like, God, you be showing out. You be showing out. Like, we were bringing in more money not working than we was working. Like, God shut the whole world down. Everybody, every city, every state. And we were still blessed. Like, if you don't trust him after that, like, I can't help you. Like, I can't give you my kind of faith. Like, you gotta already have that thing. Like, you gotta know that you know him. Because that man will show out for you. Seriously. And so I'm like, okay, babe, our funds is working. And so now it's like mid-April. And so I'm calling my realtor like, what's going on? She's like, well, they're trying their hardest. You did get your 4 points up, so that's great. You were approved for your down payment assistance. Everything was approved. I'm like, okay, bet. So now what? She's like, now we're just waiting for all your paperwork to go through. Y'all, paperwork. When you're buying a house, I don't care what time. It's stressful. Just get ready. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I'm saying it's going to be worth it. Trust me. But it's stressful. And so all this paperwork, blase. And so now she's like, listen, I'm not sure what's going to happen. So, just make sure you have a backup plan. Because at this point, so I'm calling my sister like, we might have to come stay with you because I don't know what's going to happen with this thing. Like, we have to be out of here. Y'all, don't laugh at me, but I think, like, April has, like, 28 days in it. Or 29, one of the two. And I'm like, girl, it's, like, the 20th. We ain't got that much. So, I'm like, we may have to come stay with you. And my sister's like, girl, that's fine. You come, But you always want, like, your own peace of mind. And you don't want to feel like a burden on anyone. So, I was like, you know what, Lord? I'm not saying that I don't trust you. But I'm saying that I'm just positioning myself. So either way it go, I know you're going to bless it. So I go and apply for this apartment. Y'all, these apartments, I'm so sick of apartments. Like, if you're living in an apartment, God bless you. I'm praying for you because they will charge you an arm and a leg just for convenience, just for the area. You understand? Like, this apartment that I had to apply for was literally $200 less than what our mortgage is. Like, it's just a 2-bedroom apartment. Like, less than what our mortgage would be if we get approved for this house. I'm like, oh, this is what we come to now? Like, oh my God. I'm like, okay. I applied for the apartment, y'all. And they're like, okay, you've been approved. I'm talking about right away. You've been approved. I'm like, I already know. Because my credit is A1. I already know. So I'm like, okay, bet. And so my realtor's like, listen, we may have to wait another 6 months if we do. I'm like, listen, that's fine. I'm believing God is going to do it. So if he got me wait another 6 months, then man, he finna give me an even better house. Because that's the way my mind was. Like, I cannot afford to believe anything less. It has got to be better. So Lord, if you are saying no to this, then I'm believing you're going to do better. So, okay. So now I'm prepared. Now they're like, okay, you got to come pay the deposit for your apartment. And so I'm like, bet. So, the day of, this is April 28th. The day before, my realtor was kind of like, they're still working things out, but I can't promise you. I was like, listen, don't worry about it. I'm still believing, but if not, I got a backup plan. So they tell me at the apartments, I need you to come and put your deposit down. Now it's COVID, so I can't come in and physically give it to them. So they're like, pay it online. Y'all, I'm trying to pay this thing online, and I'm trying to pay it back to back. Every time I try to pay it, it's not working. It's not working. This is the day before, okay? It's not working. So I'm like, tomorrow I'm just going to go and I'm going to go and give it to them so they can at least give me my keys. So I wake up the next morning. And I don't know what had come over me. I woke up the next morning and I started playing Jacqueline Carr. It's your winning season. It's like everything attached to me wins. It was like, I don't know. I was like in the spirit, like, listen, I'm not finna cry about this. I'm not finna be down about this. I'm finna believe that this man, I'm like, honestly, like real talk, like come close. Like literally, I was like, Lord, I'm finna get up and I'm finna pack this house up. And if this house is for me, if the home is for me, then I move into my new house. And if you want me to wait and move into this apartment, I move it into this apartment. But I'm gonna treat this apartment just like it's a house. I'm gonna appreciate. See, you gotta move like, listen, either way you bless me, I'll take it. Okay? Because he gotta see that you appreciate what you do have. And y'all, my husband, I don't know, but if you know Macmillan, so help me God, this man is laying there. Because he like, it's COVID. They're not going to put me out my apartment. They got to come get me. And I'm like, babe, we cannot move. We cannot do that. We got to move. My husband was like, no, it's COVID. I'm staying here. They can't move me. Put me out then. I'm like, Lord. So y'all, I get up. I put on my good church music, and God told me literally within that time, like, don't take nothing out this apartment. Like, leave all of it. Not even your clothes. Like, take your bed, because we had just bought a bed. Like, take your bed, your TVs, and like your memory, but do not take nothing out of this closet. I mean, out of this house. And so, y'all, I packed up. And so, as you can see here, this is the house cleaned out. This is where we came from. This is the 1-bedroom apartment that we had for 7 years. Like, y'all, I'm not saying that it happened overnight. For 7 years, we were in this 1-bedroom apartment until God saw fit to bless us with more. Okay? And so, fast forward, I pack up everything, and I had 4 boxes. I had my mom's things in there. I had stuff from our wedding and stuff like that. I had books and things like that. And then we had the bed, like the couch, the stool, everything. I was like, I don't want none of it, because in my head, I'm going to a new start. Whether it's in this home or whether it's in this apartment, I'm starting over fresh. God gonna bless me regardless. And so I'm on my way to go and pay the deposit, because I'm like, y'all, it's not going through online. So like, well, you can come in, just leave the deposit outside, and we'll leave your keys for your apartment. I'm like, okay, great. And so I'm telling my husband, like, baby, get the rest of the stuff together, and I'm gonna go put the deposit, and then I'll come back with the we had to go get the moving truck. And so he's like, okay. So we go get the moving truck. On the way to go get the moving truck, my realtor calls me, and she's like, listen, I don't know what type of prayer warriors you have behind you. I don't know what type of prayers you've been praying, but these lenders just called and said they want to close on this home for you at 3 p.m. Y'all, it's like 1 o'clock. At 3 p.m., these people are like, I want to close on this house at 3 p.m. Y'all, I hurry up and did a U-turn and went back to my house. I'm like, baby, they want to close on this house at 3 o'clock. But I mean, y'all, we've already been let down once. So we don't want to get our hopes up. So we're like excited, but we like, you know, you're excited, but you don't want to, okay, breathe. You got this. Okay. And so we're like, we're going to go one more time. So y'all, we get in the car, and we didn't even tell the apartment people like we're not coming. We're like, y'all, we're gonna have to come a little bit later, because y'all, we still not believing. Like, I love the Lord, but I'm like, Lord, like I ain't trying to get let down again. And so we ended up going to close on the house. And so y'all, on the way there, I'm like, oh my God, I don't have my ID. Now, I'm going to tell y'all why I don't have my ID. Because it was COVID. I had to get a new social security card with my marriage name on it, because even after those years, I hadn't changed my social security card, and you needed all that to line up. So when you go and sign for your house, your last name aligns with his last name, and everything is okay. And so I'm like, oh my God, I do not have my ID, because I had to send my real ID in the mail with my real birth certificate so they could send me back a real social, because the offices were closed. So I called the realtor and I'm like, oh my God, Miss Such and Such, I don't have my ID. She literally was like, turn around. Don't even go. Like, you can't sign papers without your ID. You can't even look at an apartment without your ID. So don't even worry about it. Like, we done came this close. Don't even worry about it. Yeah, I was not feeling her energy. I was like, oh, okay, click. I ain't got time. Look, sis, I know you frustrated. I'm frustrated too. But the way my belief system set up, I can't afford to even have you at this point doubting me. So y'all, at that time, I called there was I called spiritual guidance, and she was like, listen, we're not believing the devil. We're believing what God says. And so I'm like, you're right. So we turned on this song. There was this theme song at the time we had, and it was when Jesus say yes, nobody can say no. When Jesus say yes, nobody can say no. The whole time, y'all, my husband probably thought I was crazy, but the whole time we rode from our house to the closing building, I was like, we playing this home, because I need to hear these words. Like, I'm believing it, but I can't let them creep in, not even for a second. I can't let the devil creep in for even without even an ounce of doubt. Like, I can't even let self creep in. Like, I need to hear this on the whole. So the whole way I'm like, when Jesus said, anxiety and everything, can't say no when Jesus say, you know what I mean? I'm like, I ain't got the room. I got to believe this the whole way through. And so we get there, and I'm like, I'm going to go in and I'm going to talk to her, and I'm going to say, hey, how you doing? I love the Lord. You know, I'm going to give her a little bit of Lord. I'm like, Lord, please let this lady be godly so that she can understand that I really need this house, even though I don't have my ID. So we pull up, and it's a lot. It's like 7 people waiting in their car. I'm like, what is going on? So I get ready to go to the door. It's like, skirt. It's COVID, sis. You cannot come in here. You need to wait outside. I'm like, oh, okay. So the whole plan of me going in and wowing her was not going to happen. So she comes to me. I'm like, hey, how you doing? She's like, yes, ID, please. I'm like, oh, so you just going to hit me with the ID thing right out. Okay. So I'm looking in my purse. Now, I do not have an ID, okay? But I'm still believing, okay? So I'm looking. And I'm like, So I'm like looking. So I'm like, I don't have my ID, but I have a picture. Now she's in the doorway, like, she like, huh? Cause she's so scared. Cause it's COVID. So I'm like, I don't have. She's like, let me give you an email. So she puts the picture, the email thing, like, on the window. She's like, send it to this email. I'm like, for real? So I'm like, I have a copy of my actual ID in a picture. So I send this picture to the email. She come back to the door. She's like, oh, okay, you approve. I need you to sanitize and then come back in. Y'all, when it's for you, please believe him. It's for you. Like, I don't care what you see. When it's for you, it's for you. And so I get inside, and y'all, let me tell you something. The stacks of paper, like this, the desk, it's like this big, like, for real. It's like that much. I'm like, oh my God. So we get in there, and the lady's like, yeah, I'm from Atlanta, and I love the Lord. I was just like, for real? And we're just y'all, we signing these papers. We talking about God, so we signing. Clear, signing. Blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, yes. I'm like, this truly, I never even thought we would make it to this table. It's very scary. My realtor called. She's like, hey, where you at? I'm like, I'm at the signing table. She's like, yes. I'm like, ah. And so we excited. So my husband's like, man, my husband, he's still like, I can't believe. I'm like, me neither. So we get finished signing up, and she's like, oh, okay, for the down payment. I'm like, oh, okay, I have the check. So I'm digging in my box. She's like, oh no, Miss McMillan, we will be writing you a check today. Say, what now? She's like, You have money coming back to you. I'm like, for real? No, for real. She's like, no, you have money coming back to you. Y'all, they wrote us a check. Like all this time, I'm thinking we got to write them a check. No, they wrote us a check. I'm going to tell you how this worked. So the down payment assistance that we were trying to get approved for, that I needed the 4 extra points for, they normally give $6,000 to a single family without children. People with children, 6 to 8,000. People with children, they give 8 to 10,000. Y'all, these people approved me for $8,999. Okay. Now my closing cost was, I want to say it was $11,000. Let's just be really honest. My closing costs were $11,000. I'm sorry, my down payment was $11,000 for this home. Because I got approved for down payment assistance, that gave me $8,999. Okay. My closing costs with incentives, there was a $5,000 closing cost incentive that they were giving out. My closing cost was, I want to say like 5,000 or something. And we opted out for doing a sprinkler system. Not like literally, we was like, we don't need all that. We can put our own thing out there. Not even knowing that was going to be like $2,000 and something. Didn't even know. So with our closing costs being, with our deposit down payment being $11,000 and our closing costs being like 5 something, we still had $2,000 and something left over. That $2,000 and something went to our down payment because we still needed $1,000 and something. So with the remaining balance of that, it went to our pocket. That's how it worked. That's how we had to put 0 down. That's how it worked. We got our credit up to be approved for down payment assistance. They overly gave us more money because of the pandemic. Instead of giving us $6,000 to $8,000, they gave us like literally 1 cent from $9,000. Then with the incentives and what we didn't want, that carried over. We were able to use that for down payment. So we ended up coming out of pocket for nothing. Nothing. I had no ID. We had to put no money down. Y'all, when I received them keys, I was scared. I was joyful. I was speechless because I was just like, you really did it. Like, you really, like, oh, you did it. Like, God, you did it. Like, you really did it. Like, for me. Like, he really did it, y'all. He did it. Like, so listen, I want to, before I get to what you really are trying to get to, which is the pictures. I know y'all want to see, and I'm going to show it to you. But I just want to encourage you, like, don't worry about what you see. Don't worry about what the lenders say. People have told me you need $10,000 in the bank account. I did not have $10,000 in my bank account. I didn't even have a job at the time of me closing. Hello, okay? When it's for you, it's for you. It does not matter the circumstance. Do not be so consumed on your circumstance. Believe the God that you serve and the power that you have in your tongue. I'm talking about speak that thing that you want, and God will exceed your expectation. I pray that this video blessed you like this experience blessed me. If you have questions, if you have thoughts, if you need prayers, I got you. Give me a detailed comment below. I mean, listen, I understand the process, but it's so worth it. What's waiting on the other end of that process is so worth it. So keep believing. Keep believing. Don't give up on it. I don't care what it looks like. Keep moving forward. I'll talk to you guys next time. If you guys are ready to follow us on this journey, go ahead and subscribe, press that like button, and go ahead and sign up for our notifications on our next video. Bye.